a little shred of the siding on right here because I didn't get it on the framing just right, so. It fits. Now just don't drop it. Okay. It's my first time ever doing anything like this, so I hope it works. I'm trying to like glob it around the screw holes so that when the screws go in it'll seal those off as well. It's probably not a great idea, I don't know. Probably don't even need this, but I have it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. But it's so hard to squeeze it out. It's like partially sealed, I think. I've heard different theories on this. Some people say to leave it open on the bottom. Some people say they seal it. I'm just going to leave it open because this is too annoying to squeeze out. So that's my method, I guess. Well, there it is. All three of those screws on this left side kind of didn't seem to go in and hold that well. They kind of just kept spinning. I think that's due to it only being that little sliver of T111 there, but hopefully with the sealant and with all the other screws, you know, a little tiny window like that, it's actually like a playhouse window, so hopefully that's good enough. I was actually going to trim it, but I don't know. Should I trim it or not? If I'm going to, I'd rather go ahead and get it done today, but the screws, they're not like flush with it, so they're not really meant to be trimmed over, I don't think. I suppose you could just trim around the perimeter, but I don't know. I have to think about it. I gotta say, it is nice to have a window here with some light, man. This is actually pretty bright in here. I can see everything that I need to do. Pretty smooth operation there. So now that the window's done, whatever you want to call that, I got some of this stuff, and I don't know how far one can will go, but we're going to get started on trying to seal this up so I can start insulating. Alright, so that's enough of that for one day. It's getting a bit fumy, and the can is empty. I pretty much got most of it covered, but there's a little bit more that needs to be done, and I gotta seal this bottom bit here. So I'll have to get another can of it, but hopefully one more can and we will be good. So there you have it. There is the window. And on the inside we got some foam sealer doing its thing. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day for today. And next time we'll be maybe putting up some actual insulation. That'll be cool. Or horrible. Well, hello there and welcome back to another day of harsh sunlight on the deck. Anyway, yesterday I came up here without the camera and got started. And of course, as you might imagine, that didn't go without mishaps. The insulation that I have here, here's a piece of it. The rest of it's still up there that I moved up last time. Was the wrong size for the rafters. You know, my rafters are 2 foot on center, and I had a lapse of thinking when I bought the pack, and it was for 16 on centers, so that works for the loft floor, which I was going to insulate anyway, but I was just going to start with the rafters. Anyway, fortunately, I did not go ahead and buy all of it in one go, so I went yesterday and got the rest of the insulation that I needed, and I just did this out here on the loft floor over the deck beforehand, and then I went and got the rest of the stuff, and now I have that. And I went ahead and insulated the entirety of the loft ceiling. So today, hopefully, what I'm going to do is try to do the walls and then finish this up in here. We had some mold growth and whatnot, so I bought some mold remover spray. You might be able to see that is what it looks like after I sprayed it. Did not wipe it down, didn't feel like it. I may try to use the broom and brush it or whatever, but you know, if the spray killed the fungus and the mold and whatnot, then is it a bad thing just to cover it up with the insulation? I don't feel like dealing with it. So I don't know, we'll see how many shortcuts I decide to take there and how nightmarish of an outcome that will be. But let's go. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's up. Well, we're about halfway done. I got that whole wall done, this whole wall. Can't hardly see it because it's too dark, and I got one little slit right there. I just got to finish this wall, and then the floor. But the sun looks like it's fading. I don't know how much I'll get done today. So I'm just gonna put my head down and get to it. Oh, I think I'm done for the day. It's too dark to see. I got the loft all insulated. It started getting kind of dark towards the end, so not sure exactly how good of a job I did. Oh, there's a phone. We should be in a good position to finish it up next time. This is a pretty... I don't hate it, but it's just kind of a tedious, obnoxious job to do. I don't know, yeah, I want to just get in and slap it up, but can't just do that, so it's just taking a little bit more effort than I wanted it to take. But we're getting it done. That went a lot smoother than expected. Helps when you can see what you're doing. Well, I think that's it. I had to cut a whole sheet just to get this one little sliver in. But I think we might be done. So this is where we're at. If the camera will adjust, there we go. This is under the deck, and it's a pretty terrible job that I did here because this is my first area I started on, and I wasn't sure how to use the slap stapler and whatnot, so it's a bit rough, but I think we got it done. Here we are inside. I don't know how well packed it is into all the corners and edges, but I think it's good enough for this application. And also take note of how it sounds. Like, I mean, this is obviously a little less echoey because we have this one. You know, the ceiling basically. So here we are in the loft. And I know there's like a lot of white noise from the camera, but maybe you can tell just how less echoey it is up here. Because I got all this. Also, this is all the leftovers. This is for the 2x4 walls. Those two bits at the top are for the 2x6 on 16-inch centers, and then as you can tell that's wider, that's for the 2-foot 24-inch centers. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do, either try to save it for future projects or maybe cut some of that down and use it to insulate the bottom, but it's not going to be enough, and I don't intend to insulate the bottom, or at least not invest any money into it right now. Got all the little doodads here. All these here, some of them I didn't do just right, so I had little scraps that I like tucked in there and whatnot. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was mostly just kind of tedious. It seems like one of those things you can kind of just slap up, and maybe it's my fault going into it kind of having that idea that it would be a little less tedious than it actually was, made the relatively easy job that it is more tedious and annoying to me. But yeah, I'm glad to have that over with, aside from any little touch-ups I need to do. So, there we go. Everything's foamed up. I had some like nail holes in that wall from the sheeting that I messed up. So before I put that in, I went and got the can of foam sealer stuff and sprayed over those things and kind of packed it in a little bit and made sure those holes were as plugged up as I could get them, the ones that I could see anyway. I don't know if I got every single one, but I kind of, you know, got the pattern, I think, so hopefully that's all on most of them. And then I let that sit for a while I was doing this wall, and then got that up. So hopefully we're about as sealed off and insulated as I can get it. So there you go.